Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tardis Zone's new Who Zone. We are here for a journey to the center of the Tardis. Yes, Matt Smith. So, good episode coming up. Looking forward to it. So, without further ado, I'm just going to bring on the guests and we're going to get straight into this because I haven't been dinner cooking. So I'll have to keep an eye on that. So what I'll do is we'll bring the guests on. We'll start the episode straight away. I have a setup and all now. No delays this time because I've got everything. I'm on it. I'm on it today. So we'll bring on our guests. Hold on. Just want to make sure it's right at the start of this episode though. I want to make sure that it just kicks in. I haven't watched this in a while, so I forget. Right, there we go. It's paused. Right. Let's bring on our guests. So, without further ado, let's start off with our first guest. It's the one and only Queen Charlotte.
Hello, everybody.
How are you? We've got
Good.
Super Doctor.
Hey.
We got PD Rich.
Hey ho.
And we got the one and only Problem Being. Welcome. How are you? Nice to see you. Right, if everybody in the chat could do us a favor and please press 1 if you're ready. We're going to get straight into this. Because I haven't seen this in a while, so I'm actually dying to sit here while I eat me dinner or watch it. So, yeah, let's get into it. Yay, one of my favorite episodes, says Melina. Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while, but I do remember I liked it at the time. We got a couple of wands there. So, yeah, wands. So, Charlotte, without further ado, go ahead.
Yep, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Spaceship.
There we go. We got some
Nice
funky
looking
looking
spaceship,
spaceship.
actually.
That's a great opening shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of like spaceship shots in this series, didn't he?
Yeah.
You could tell he really wanted to do these sort of shots this series.
I mean, this is good because we didn't really know that there were androids in this.
Well, I can say as soon as you see the eye, now you can
as
tell.
soon as you see the eye, you know that.
But I do think, obviously, we'll get to it more in the episode. I think it's a really good reveal with him later on. I do think it's a really good one.
And you can see that those barcodes on his neck is it's a bit badly painted.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't put that through a barcode reader.
Yeah, because isn't the like one of these is quite well known, isn't he? The actor, like the one who nicks the thing in a bit, isn't he quite well known? Because I recognised his face, I just couldn't tell from what.
I'm really not good with actors.
I just recognised the face.
You used to be one.
I mean, the acting in this is absolutely outstanding from Matt Smith and
I
James Coleman.
Look, she's really good, and Matt, because you see.
This is where Clara gets irritating.
Yeah.
In this episode.
2 minutes, Melina.
Yeah, I agree. The other episode, she's not been too bad, but this is when you start to see the abuse.
2 minutes now, Melina.
Oh yeah, the abuse starts to happen in it.
Because this is like something from Guardians of the Galaxy almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of hype about it because it was Journey to Center of the Tardis, and it was Moffat was teasing a lot of there would be a lot of Tardis interior scenes. We'd get to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah, Melina, 2 minutes 30 coming up now.
Yeah, now.
See, and what I like about this, it makes sense why he's made the shields go down for once. It's not so much of a thing where you think, Doctor, why have you done that? He's doing it because Clara was piloting, so he made it basically a more basic TARDIS for her, so it makes sense as to why now they could get grabbed.
And with Matt's Doctor in this, you get a lot of Troughton vibes.
Oh, you get a lot of manipulative Doctor in this one, which I like.
Yeah, and especially the way he's messing with the console there, it's very like Patrick Troughton. I actually still get goosebumps just watching that. You know, it goes into the intro from this one.
Yeah, I like the fact that we didn't get a tunnel so much this time.
Oh, yes,
it was a lot more spacey.
I suppose that I had to kind of adjust to the new titles, and I suppose they kind of grew in me a wee bit. But
oh yeah, they're very different.
Yeah. I just love that with the wee kind of model TARDIS scenes and that. I thought that was very well done.
Escape pods come in wood, apparently.
Yeah, just they look like something from Earth.
Yeah.
And I do really love the brothers in the fact that they're not nice people. Like, well, two of them aren't. The one who's an android is, but the other two, they're these sort of dodgy characters.
Yeah.
And it's just lovely to have characters that aren't always your heroes or your good guys.
Well, according to them, the TARDIS, when they saw it, it was just like space junk, and the space junk would make them money.
Yeah, it's salvagers. Yeah,
they're kind of a bit space salvagers, and I
thought, they're selfish, which is nice.
Yeah,
to see just actually selfish characters.
Yeah,
they're very much like characters from Alien or Aliens movies. That's what I liked about them. You know, they're kind of space truckers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Matt's feet just sticking out. That's got like Wizard of Oz vibes, hasn't it? Almost.
Yeah. Crushed by his own TARDIS. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "Hello, boys."
Yeah.
And I also get Peter Davison vibes coming from Matt as well.
Yeah.
With the I see more Troughton, but yeah, I can see some of Davidson in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just got an utter look of like, who's this weirdo who's just appeared?
I think the word you're looking for is irritating.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a thingy in The Fifth Element. Lena's all right.
See, this is what I like about the Doctor now. He's being tricky. He's being clever. He knows if he appeals to the selfishness, he'll get them on his side.
Guy pretended to be Corbin Dallas, but it was actually an alien.
I mean, Matt Smith must have done his complete research on the Doctor.
Yeah.
When he took the part, he knew what he was really going to do with it.
Oh yeah, I think all Doctors we've been lucky.
Yeah.
Bar and obvious, but we won't go into that. That you can tell the actors had like a set plan almost for their Doctor.
Yeah.
And I think Matt, the vibes I've always seen it as Matt wanted to be quite childish and goofy that first season.
Yeah.
And then each series he wanted to get darker. He wanted to show the more of the sort of underbelly of his
How
doctor.
did she end up all the way down that corridor?
Yeah, bit of a
From the-
Sylvester McCoy arc. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, but at least she got chucked. She did get thrown. You did see her get thrown from the
That's a hell of
console
a
room.
throw to end up round
Well,
the
the
corridor.
TARDIS doesn't like her, does it?
Yeah.
Do you not think the
Can't stand
TARDIS would be like, I'm going to help her, but I'm going to be...
It must be like one of those little metal balls and those little puzzles you move around and the ball goes through the maze.
Like Pyramids of Mars. But with this, it does feel realistic, like a space-time machine, kind of bigger on the inside and as an outside. But even though I do like the Fifth Doctor's TARDIS corridors and all that, with all the roundels and that,
I missed them
and the
with
kind of
six.
basicness of the TARDIS. But this shows the TARDIS in a different way, a different kind of light.
Oh yeah, because you have a TARDIS under attack.
Yeah.
So he sort of I think he the line I find interesting that he says, "Oh, we're gonna get a hissy fit."
Yeah.
But it's more than a hissy fit. This is the TARDIS. I think angry, if I were to describe it more than anything.
Yeah.
And this was the kind of first time in New Who you can saw the TARDIS was kind of worn and like that, like it'd been traveling through space and time, and you can see the paint effect when it is peeled.
Yeah,
I get that a lot. I like that line.
And to me, this console room does feel like a time machine.
Yeah,
this one.
That's what I like about it.
And it looks gorgeous in this lighting, with all the darkness and the red.
I'd still like to see a lighter console room. I really would.
But even though the classic console rooms, see if you kind of darkened them a bit down a bit and had them kind of like the roundels kind of backlit and that.
That's really
it's
great,
so atmospheric.
There's some really great renders on what's that site called now?
DeviantArt?
DeviantArt.
Yeah,
that one.
Fantastic renders. Fan renders.
Yeah. See, I love this now. This is the Doctor being underhanded.
Yeah.
This is him really playing with them. This is the sort of, like I said, this is a bit Troutony. This is very Troutony, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Doctor's cot there.
Yeah. I love the walls. The walls relate back to McGann's, the kind of stone walls. That's a good touch.
Oh, that stupid crib.
Yeah. Oh, there's Amelia's
TARDIS.
Yeah, and this is how you do fan service. This is how you do it.
Yeah, just have them
lightly
walk past, like,
sort of sprinkled when you need it. Oh,
Sylvester McCoy's umbrella. You know the first one that he had.
Wasn't it the umbrella he had when he was shot?
No.
That's
the other one.
Did he have one?
It was the other one. It was in I think it was in the Paradise Towers, I think.
Yeah, didn't Thingy have one as well? Sixth Doctor.
Yeah, well, I think the Sixth Doctor had this coloured umbrella.
Yeah.
I think it was a green handle.
Yeah.
And he had also a kind of strap in that, so he could put it in his shoulder.
That's the one. So the Sixth started having an umbrella.
Yeah.
It carried over to McCoy.
I think Troughton had an umbrella like that. I think it was in.
I've got my question mark handlebar handled the umbrella.
Yeah, red, haven't you?
But the spokes broke on it.
Yeah. Yeah, as I say, we finally see the swimming pool. It's been referenced enough times.
I think it was the Crotons.
Yeah.
He had an umbrella like that, Troughton.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's our Time War reference in a bit.
Hey, it's a laboratory.
Oh, the library.
The library.
Library, that's the one, the library.
But the library was in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did actually say, I think it's shifted. It's not there anymore.
Yeah, I think that was a line to explain.
Yeah.
Oh,
chemical
mate,
files, I thought it was
you
a
should
laboratory.
not be touching her. You should not be touching her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that reference where the console comes off. The later Tardis console was actually you could disassemble it like that. One that Mike Kelt redid. That's a nice
and there's a line from Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, you can hear Amy Pond in the background.
Yeah, and I think that was the line from Chris Eccleston. Genghis Khan can't get through that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this episode shows if you want to have canon stuff, if you want to have references, it has to be background.
Yeah. There's only one bit in this episode I absolutely can't stand. That's it. I will scream at that point.
Yeah. It would have been good if a Dalek came around one of those corridors, like one of the 60s Daleks.
Yeah.
I do love that room. I think it's beautiful design.
Yeah, it looks like the Tree of Life.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they were being inspired by. It's very like Nordic looking, isn't it?
It looks alien as well. It was very alien.
Yeah, it's a lovely mixture of the natural with the tree and the tech. And it suits the TARDIS. Like, it would have this sort of natural thing in it, the way they describe it in the modern era, especially.
Yeah.
You can see the Gallifreyan symbols on it as well.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have took it.
There goes the swimming pool.
And it's good that the TARDIS is actually playing games with them as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a very clever concept as well.
Well, yeah, it's kind of...
there's that book.
Yeah, but it's clever as well because you see it, like you said, playing with people, but you see also protecting Clara and when they get into the console room, the Echo.
That sounded like a Dalek.
Nope.
Did you not hear that? Sounded like a Dalek talking, and then that creature came in.
Well, maybe because she was reading the Time War book. Maybe that's where it would make sense. Because in a minute you see like the encyclopedias, which like a gas form, aren't they?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, but he's from one of these. Then you might have heard the Dalek.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's just the voice thing that Briggs uses.
That's right, you drink them in it, don't you?
Yeah, because that's very Alice in Wonderland-like, isn't it?
Yeah.
I love these creatures, and the fact that you don't quite see them in shot, in focus yet. It's sort of, you can tell it's the effect on the camera.
Yeah.
That you just see hints of them.
It's what L-stocks in the centre of the TARDIS. I mean, there could be anything in that, the ship.
Including House. House could still be alive in it.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that be fun if there was a bit of a reference to House in this?
Yeah.
I mean, there must be a system on the TARDIS that detects vermin or anything, any kind of biological threat.
Oh yeah, there will be, like in the human body. You get.
Yeah.
Is it the white blood cells? Can't remember which one it is.
And then when we go to the TV, back to the TV movie, when Chanley touches the TARDIS comes
dreadful hats.
Yeah.
Time Lord's terrible dress. It's dreadful.
Yeah. Find a turkey down there.
But it's not the right room.
No, but it's safe. That's the main thing. Until she's an idiot in a bit.
Actually, she's trying to protect you, you little twat. Shut up, Clara, you fool.
Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll just get her to throw you out of the airlock then, if you're going to moan.
Take a nice whiff of the vacuum.
You deserve it. The android's more.
Well, he knows now, doesn't he? I think he's pretty much worked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely's worked it out because he knows. He said sorry to them because he knows who they are.
Yeah, but I'm thinking at this point he's worked out about the android as well.
I also get that vibe as well from Legopolis, Tegan running through the corridors and coming to the same point in the cloister room.
Yeah.
TARDIS really likes to mess with its occupants, and even in Unearthly Child, the first takeoff, it rendered the occupants unconscious.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's purely because the TARDIS is so intelligent, it just likes to show that off, a bit like the Doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one's trying to outdo the other.
Yeah, it's almost like they have a little competition between themselves.
It's when he stole the TARDIS and ran away, it stole him. It stole a part of him.
Well, no, we know because she said I stole a Time Lord. It's not part of him. She literally sees it as stealing a whole Time Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this idea that they're in an echo and she's on almost one side of it and he's on the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the light switch is a good way to explain it.
I like the explanation. It's like a light switch in between.
It's like
states.
Enough normal that you can understand it, but it's also very clever.
Yeah, and it's also complete nonsense. But it's done with such conviction. It's like you can accept it.
Yeah, don't open the door, love.
Of course she's let it in because she's a tick.
Clara, what do you expect?
I love the movement as well of the creature with the head turning a bit. It's so creepy. So I'm guessing it's a person in the suit. Whoever's the person's doing a very good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically telling you who it is.
Yeah, this is the biggest clue so far. Like, why is it not killing her yet? And why is it mirroring her like that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is when the abuse starts. This is Lee's right. This is when you start to see it. It's like, why on earth would the Doctor keep monsters in his TARDIS?
And it's interesting at this point, we really still don't know really that much about the Doctor, and it's creating new information about the Doctor.
Well, it's teasing us because that was I always thought it was clever with the Time War stuff Russell did, that he introduced it, but he never went into detail about it. It was just a big event you knew had happened.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the Time War is one of the best introductions we've had in the show's history because of the way it was done.
I wouldn't be surprised if Russell T Davies goes and revisits the Time War.
No, I've got a feeling it's done now, that stuff. You'll want something new.
Did you see the Eye of Harmony on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually did literally set up the self-destruct, and he doesn't know how to, because he's an idiot. But at least he's figuring out his own shit.
Yeah.
Well, he's quick to go, right, we need to go here, we need to do this to stop it.
Ew.
Scary.
And you notice that there's a bit of the RTD music in it. That was in the Dalek episodes. Very well done how he's incorporating a bit of the RTD era music. No, love of Clara is touching. I don't know what that means.
I think it's saying how we can tell we all really love Clara. Wink, wink.
No. Yeah. Well, in fairness to Clara, she's still... You can see that, this is where she starts getting a bit... But even in this episode, she's actually all right.
Oh, no, it's just that one bit when she's punching him.
Yeah.
And maybe this is how the Splinter Clara entered the TARDIS as well.
Yeah.
Well, the Splinters came because she jumped in the Doctor's time stream, so
yeah,
I don't think that would play into this.
No, she's not the same as Rose.
No,
she's not. She is a control freak.
Yeah.
I know you don't see that, Melina. That's fair enough, but you're actually wrong on this case. Clara is definitely
also uber control freak in season 8.
She is. You could see it, and then that's the whole point of Clara. Then when it gets to Moffat, right?
Yeah.
The Doctor then sees in Clara what she's become, and it's basically a miniature version of him with the arrogance, with the confidence, with the cockiness, with the don't give a shit.
Yeah.
That's what she became. Right?
Yeah,
Up until a certain point, she's fine. But when she gets past that point, then she's ridiculous. And she is. I'm sorry, but I think she's one of the worst companions we've had in New Who.
Well,
and that's
I was
saying
going
a
to
lot.
say, the difference is with Rose, it was more to do with romance that she became controlling. Whereas with Clara, it comes across as pure ego, almost, the control. Whereas with Rose, it was romantic, and there's a difference.
Anyway.
Oh, you're not comparing. Okay.
All right, cool. But anyway, my point stands.
Oh, I love this. Tell him. And the Doctor's just, you can see the Doctor's fed up now with the lie. He just wants him to say it.
Joke.
This is what I mean. I really love how these characters are not nice and they're quite nasty.
Yeah, I know. I said you're not comparing the two, but my point still stands. Clara is one of the worst companions of New Who's run. And that's saying a lot because I think we've gotten the worst companions ever in the latest era, but she is one of the worst companions. I don't think Rose is a particularly good companion either, actually, if you break her down. She was a selfish
Series 1 she was
person.
Good.
What?
Series 1 Rose was good.
Yeah, Series 1, but she became selfish after that. The only one that wasn't really selfish out of all the companions was Catherine Tate Donna Noble. She didn't have an agenda when she went on adventures with the Doctor. But Rose did, because we seen Father's Day. You know, as soon as she mentioned we can go through space and time, she said no. But as soon as he mentioned, it travels in time and space as well, then straight away she was on the TARDIS. He even calls her out on it. So she was selfish. Martha.
But Martha had the same sort of fault that she fancied him, and she blatantly just went because he kissed her.
But she snapped out of it, though. She did snap out of it.
And Amy, because imaginary friend.
Yeah, which made sense, though, because she ingrained the Doctor in her childhood, so it made sense.
Yeah.
Amy and Rory were good companions, yes. Bill Potts was a good companion as well, actually. Honestly, if I was told that by me doing that, Melina would rupture time and space, I wouldn't be that selfish now. I'd say no, I wouldn't do it. If I could do it and there was no consequences, then yeah, of course I would love to go and see loved ones. But the thing about it was there was consequences when Rose went to see her father. People start getting erased out of the timeline because of her selfishness. And that's exactly what it was. Look how she treated Mickey Smith as well. She didn't treat him too well.
This is the bone of contention, isn't it? The Eye of Harmony.
Yeah.
I mean, where it's
I hate this bit.
I mean, in the 1996 movie, The Eye of Harmony was in the TARDIS, but really the lore states that it's on Gallifrey.
Exactly.
And now it's basically the engine.
It was like the other end of a Cat 5 cable in the TARDIS. It was like that was a link to it. But it's not actually in a TARDIS. That's what annoys me about this episode. It's like, unless he's recreated the Eye of Harmony to power the TARDIS, because it doesn't run on Rift energy. But this is the bit I despise about this episode.
I think it's just probably a mini version of the Eye of Harmony that's built.
I don't think it's the actual Eye of Harmony.
The same thing. But it doesn't explain it. That's why I find it annoying.
And here's the reveal.
Because, as I said, the TARDIS doesn't run on Rift energy after season 5. So he could have created a mini Eye of Harmony to power the TARDIS.
How did that thing know her name?
Because it's her.
Oh, no, do you mean the machine?
Yeah.
Well...
Because it was analysing her DNA.
Yeah, it scanned her before.
But how would it know her name from a DNA? I don't know.
Because obviously he scanned the real Clara by using the machine. Then he scanned this thing. And then they both had the same DNA.
Well, and maybe, no, I get what he's saying. Maybe it scans records, or it can...
Yeah, but her records would have been thousands of years old.
Yeah, but they will be because she goes in later on. She goes into the Doctor's time stream, the whole of his time stream.
Yeah, but that wouldn't explain why the machine knew that.
They're a bit like Marshmen.
Yeah.
In a way.
You just killed yourself, Gregor. Or did you?
Yeah, and I love the image of the two bodies contorted together. That's some sort of what trying to think, like eldritch horror type of stuff.
Yeah. Melina makes a good point there. I love seeing how distraught the Doctor looks. Yeah, because he's basically in a situation where obviously there's a chance he mightn't get out.
So what are they falling into?
Moffat was good at these stories, I have to say.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't a Moffat written one, to be fair.
Well, I mean, in his era, he always had writers that, and including himself, he's done some episodes that are scary. So, I like it.
You would think this was like a kind of bit of holodeck thing.
Yeah, but you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the episode of Dinosaurs in a Spaceship where they're on the beach, and the beach is basically, the ocean is basically what's fueling the engines. And now we got the same situation here inside the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I quite like this confrontation. The fact that he's finally telling her why he's so interested in her. And she just tells him...
This is where he called her out, basically, but he doesn't know what the fuck is going on. He still doesn't know what's going on, and she doesn't know what's going on.
No, and like I said, I like her response here, because it's not conceited. It's just her saying, well, I'm not her. Just treat me as myself, and it makes sense.
Exactly. It's a bit like Indiana Jones. Do you remember? Is it The Last Crusade where they have to throw the sand across to reveal the bridge?
Well, it's a leap of faith, isn't it? It's that sort of idea of just trusting that you're not going to die and doing something silly.
I love his face here. Does he do the dicky bow? No, he didn't do the dicky bow this time. Normally he straightens the dicky bow and he's going to do something like that. That's his thing. And fixes his hair.
I like the way they don't show you what it actually looks like. That was a good...
Well, I think they knew they could never fully show it. It's just such a inconceivable concept.
Exactly. This was done well. Just wasn't happy with the Allow Harmony bit.
Look at his face. He's confused.
Yeah.
Well, he's annoyed, I think, at himself because he just said it there. Like, she's always protected him, and now it's his turn, and he's failing.
Oh yeah, what's this on our hand again?
It's a big reset button. Big red button.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit like in Series 5 when he goes back and like sets stuff in motion. It's that similar sort of idea. Because now he's seen it, now he knows what to do when he goes back through the crack.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like the crack in time all over again.
Yeah, so I said this is Series 5, very reminiscent.
It's quite embarrassing because I can notice that he's got the toy Sonic screwdriver in his hand sometimes.
Yeah.
See, I don't notice this stuff.
I'm doing stunt stuff with it. They used to give it a toy one. So it's because he used to handle it too much, and it used to go from like copper to brown.
Oh yeah, and he was a klutz, notoriously bad on set.
Yeah.
So they were like, "We're not going to give you an actual Sonic anymore. Just here's a toy one that you can wreck."
Yeah.
See, again, that was another thing as well. I didn't like that she knew his name. Like, she didn't earn that right. You know, with other companions, you could say, yeah, if anybody deserved to know his name, Sarah Jane Smith did, or what's her face? Ace, maybe. You know, companions that were there for the long. I don't know, man. I don't think it was.
Or even Jamie, like he was basically there for all the Troutons.
Exactly.
I think I remember at the time, and I think watching this again, it just felt a bit too soon for her to know that. Like she'd only been how many episodes at this point? The companion. Let's have a quick look. So this was her 5th episode. That was it. This is her 5th episode, and it's like she already knows his name.
Yeah. Big friendly button. I have to say the CGI is not that bad for
no, it's not.
This.
To go over to Molyneux, it gets really bad. It goes over to Molyneux.
Yeah.
See the way he even treated him then slightly different.
Yeah.
Look at that shot though. That's what I miss. We don't see enough of that.
Yeah.
Give me the TARDIS in space any day.
I
Just
still don't
flying
understand how the
around.
Yeah.
reset button worked. Does anyone know?
No. I don't understand the Eye of Harmony either, so there we go.
Yeah.
Well, in
That's
fairness,
that's a problem with Moffat, though. He's like,
that was
he
the
comes
problem
up,
with Moffat.
he comes up with these very convoluted things, and it's just like, by that point, I'm just like, what?
Yeah, he gets to the resolution. The resolution does make sense to a certain extent, but you want that extra detail, and he
Yeah,
always
it
seems
is.
to leave that extra detail out.
Yeah. It
That's
was
the
RTD to
problem.
go, I recreated the Eye of Harmony.
No, I
Save
think
me
the
from
problem
using
also
risk
was
energy.
Or maybe the Eye of Harmony is not located in the TARDIS. It's located in its own space that links all the TARDISes together that you can
that could
access.
work. Yeah, that'd be a good
Yeah.
idea.
Oh,
No, we've got Strax.
Oh, nice. I like this episode.
Yeah, no, I do, but we've got Strax.
I
Yeah, I
like
know.
Oh, yeah, but the Strax fighting scenes are fucking hilarious in this.
This is one with the Scottish one.
Yeah, where
And
he's
this is the
fighting
one
the
where the
Scottish fella and
doctor
he asks your
grabs
man to
Jenny.
smack him across the head. I think that's
Scotland
funny,
to
man.
fight a Scotsman.
I also thought this
Crazy.
episode was really good, but it was really
Yeah.
kind
I
of
know this episode
tricky
gets a
as
lot
well.
of stick, but I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, I like this one. And Jenny and Vastra, again, have more character development, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like those two. Always have.
Well,
I would have to be
actually,
fair to say that it was the only Mark Gatiss episode I liked.
actually, I have to say I did like that Mrs. Sweet, Mr. Sweet, or whatever the fuck
I know
it was.
Mrs. Sweet. She was nasty. She was a
Yeah.
real piece of work.
Brilliant, man. Love it. I love that episode as well.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it. Right, let's get straight into it, folks, I suppose. So we'll start with Charlotte. Your thoughts and opinions on tonight's episode?
Yeah, I hadn't watched this in years, probably since it broadcast. This is another one like that, like last week, and sort of similar in the vein of I quite enjoyed it. I think this is quite a high concept episode, but I think majority of it does land. I know there's some little niggles, but for me, the idea of them, the TARDIS, basically playing with them, playing tricks, sort of protecting itself, but then lashing out. I think that's really interesting. I love the idea of the monsters, and it's them that get turned into that, and it's that sort of similar idea of what we had in Classic, actually, of the TARDIS having time, sort of showing the future, or having to deal with the time sort of bleeding into each other.
Yeah.
And like I said, the design's gorgeous, and I think whoever the people are behind the masks do very creepy movements. So they work really well, and I really like the brothers. Like I said, they're one of the few times I think in New Who, because I think New Who does suffer at times from wanting the side characters to be majority good and sort of these morally right people. So when you have a side character that is just nasty, I think it stands out, and and I think it's done well in this episode. And the reveal of
Chibnall wouldn't do that with.
Oh God, no! Especially as, let's just say, the actors they picked, that wouldn't be allowed. No, so it's nice when you get now and again nasty, not very redeemable characters. And even though he does try a little bit to redeem the main brother,
I think he does kind of, in a way, though. I know what you're saying, but I think that end scene kind of shows that, you know, the brother stepped up there while the other brother was ripping the piss. The other brother was saying, "Oh, well, maybe I do have a shred of decency in me," or something, wherever that line was.
Oh no, because the doctor said that to him. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know they do redeem them, but it doesn't feel tropey to have that moment, because he couldn't do it during the episode. He couldn't cut the arm. He couldn't hurt him. So it doesn't feel like it's a redemption out of nowhere. So that's what I like about it as well. But I do agree. If there's little bits of the plot, if you think too much, it doesn't quite add up, like a typical sort of Moffat era episode. So I'll give this an 8, because I did quite enjoy it for what it was, and the TARDIS was really well realised as well, with the rooms and the corridors and the sort of different lights and the direction. Did make you think that it did really make you feel like each area was different and there was a different sort of atmosphere, which is well done. So I'll give this an 8.
Fantastic. We'll go with Real Super Doctor next.
I think this was a great concept to explore the TARDIS. I mean, there was a lot of promise that from Moffat that we would see a majority of the interior of the TARDIS, and we got to see a little bit more of it. But I was quite disappointed we didn't get to see the Doctor's room and that, and his own personal kind of world. But I think the going into the interior of the set, seeing the library and that, and seeing the we didn't get to see the cloister room, but we got to see the Eye of Harmony again, and it had been completely different from what we saw in the TV movie. From this big giant eye and this kind of stone statues all around it and everything like that, and you can see other elements of the TARDIS in there as well. And it's interesting that the TARDIS, because the TARDIS is this kind of sentient being, it's like if any kind of part of the TARDIS becomes stolen or anything like that, it will really seriously mess around with the occupants. And you can see it can psychologically affect the occupants. You can see that from the very early days of Doctor Who, that the TARDIS has really done that with the occupants. You can see that how the TARDIS, if a part of it gets stolen or damaged or anything like that, it can really mess around and change around the interior as well, and make it very difficult for anybody that's taken apart from it, which I think's interesting as well. I liked the acting in this as well, and I liked Jenna Louise Coleman in this. I liked the fact that she was this kind of she's this kind of feisty, and she's also very interfering, and she likes this kind of sort of interfering. Like, she likes to kind of find out everything like that and explore the TARDIS and that. And I think that she was enjoying herself doing this as Clara. I quite like the fact that you know that the TARDIS, even when the TARDIS can make it acceptable for the Doctor can be the only one that has to kind of work it out. It's like,
you have to be a
Doctor
Time Lord to work it out.
Yeah, the Time Lords are probably the only ones that can actually solve the problems and that. And you can see with the edge of destruction, it was because the Doctor had the fast return switch on it, and it was creating all those problems as well. So it's quite interesting that these concepts can be actually kind of revisited as well in the series, and they were all put together in this episode, and I thought it was done very nicely. I loved the interiors of the TARDIS, and I thought it was very gritty, very dark, very mysterious. It's a total change from the classic TARDISes, where you see the same roundel corridors and all that, and and this feels like a kind of a machine. It really does. It feels like a spaceship. It really feels like it feels like a real thing. Compared to just seeing a console and some basic roundels all around it and that, and just basic rooms and all that. This feels lived in. It feels it really feels like a real thing, and it's quite interesting that. And I like the fact that the TARDIS was trying to defend itself against all these attacks and everything like that. It was like, and it felt like scenes from Legopolis like that. I was getting vibes from that as well. Yeah, I quite enjoyed this episode. I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Fantastic. Lee?
Yeah, I would like to have seen more. I would like to have seen like some corridors from like the sort of Castrovalva, corridors. I would like to have seen that. A little bit of a callback with that. I like the fact we had all the library and the swimming pool and things like that, and which it's always very nice to explore. I just think that the TARDIS itself is a bit too dank and too dark and a bit too austere.
Yeah.
I always thought the TARDIS should be a homely, welcoming place, with a bit of sterility thrown in for good measure. But I think it lacked character, and I loved the some of the elements, with the tree with the sort of egg things in there, which was nice and alien. But yeah, I think it would have been nice to see a bit more homeliness within the TARDIS. I mean, it's all function, but there's no like, well, this is his home. It just feels a bit too. It seems to be a bit of a mismatch from the character of the Doctor. It's far too dark for me.
Yeah.
I think the acting wasn't too good actually from the three guys. Sorry, guys, I just thought it was a bit. Not the strongest. I like the captain thing. I think he was the strongest out of those three. I think the android was a bit. Well, the android, not android brother, was a bit of a weakling. But I think it was an interesting story, but it just seemed to be a bit sort of tacked on, just to create a side story. The Eye of Harmony, I think, was quite a massive bone of contention for a lot of fans of this. But I think if we look at it in terms of it's non-localized, so you can access it via any TARDIS, but it's located somewhere else in time and space. But can be accessed.
Yeah.
I think that kind of does make sense. But yeah, the whole thing where they sort of become these molten figures and then trying to kill themselves is a bit weird. Don't quite understand that. The crack in time. It's the thing that sort of works me about that is that it's reminiscent of the time fracture thing that that was put in place by the Time Lords, which gets revealed later on as to why, and that has been popping up throughout all of Matt Smith's run, but that doesn't seem to be explained significantly well enough for me to absorb that, and for the Doctor to then pass on this button thing, which repeats the thing where Clara gets this thing rolling to at the start, but then the Doctor sees it and knows what it's for, or he's talking to himself, and it just changes everything. That doesn't marry up either, and I still don't understand why the button does what it does and what he did to it. It was also sort of very fast-paced and very quick, the resolution, and seeking the heart of the TARDIS, and there's this explosion, and he's, he works it out from that event, which was from that point onwards, and then changed it again somehow. How did it change it the second time?
Yeah, it's all. I think it's all that bootstrap paradox rubbish that he comes up with. It's a way of explaining cause can outproceed fucking effect and all of this stuff. I think that's what he was aiming for. But Star Trek Voyager actually did it better than he did. But I know what he was trying to do.
This is the issue. With Moffat, you've got overly convoluted plot lines, and with Chibnall, you've got no. I mean, it's convoluted, but it doesn't make any sense because there's no effort in it.
That's what I said.
This is like too much effort has gone into.
This is what I said. Like we've never said that the Moffat era was perfect. This is the problems that we had, and the show did suffer in the ratings because of these exact things. Now, I get what he was trying to do. It is this whole bootstrap paradox and this whole thing that, you could see sort of happening before it actually happened, but you're part of events and all of this, the bootstrap paradox and all of this timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly shit. I get what he was trying to do, but you are right. He needs to explain it a little bit better. Now, that would be...
Well, bearing in mind this, this is something that kids have to understand, and
True.
I think it's kind of overload people and make it look impressive.
Yeah.
And then people will just
Moffat era had the air of wanting to look clever.
Yeah.
That's
and
how
it
I
was
always
clever. I'm sure he knows.
Yeah.
I'm sure 90%
No, he was
of the time
clever. The problem
I'm sure
was
90% of the time he understands what's going on.
Yeah.
The trouble is, not everyone else does. And
Exactly.
the thing is that even some of the time he would write himself into a corner and then he wouldn't explain things, and it would just be like, I mean, there's so many plot threads left over from his era that were never really explained and left to us.
Exactly.
And I think he said it himself, that's for you to write your own story, which I think is a little bit of a cop-out. Well, I think the whole timey-wimey thing was a bit of a cop-out.
Yeah.
You never know. If Moffat does return to Doctor Who someday, he might actually, because he's had time now, he might resolve some of those issues, because he has actually come out and said there is things that he has regretted. You're absolutely right, Lee. He actually has. This was the problem. He did overcomplicate this story.
I'll give it.
What are you giving it?
Christian Morley there says, "So what did I like?"
I do think.
I do think, apart from the things that I mentioned, I do like to start with the negatives, but and Clara was beginning to become a bit annoying, especially with the punching the doctor.
But I could understand why she did, though. That's
she's scared,
that made sense. But it's when she does it then for no reason whatsoever, then you start to question it. But what would you give it, mate?
Wait. I'd just like to address some positives, because I think it would be remiss of me not to. I think the tension side of things were really good. I thought the effects at the start were some great shots in this, some great set design in this. Given that, obviously I think a lot of it's
CGI was good.
CGI was excellent. I think the reveal of the monsters was done very nicely, as Charlotte was saying about how you sort of kept everything slightly out of focus, which was really cool. And I think it's always interesting. Like, fans are always excited to see exploration and see more of the TARDIS. I just think it would have been nice to have been realised in slightly different way, and to have some roundel things, like some actual things that would harken back to that. That would have been really cool. Yeah. But look, it was still an enjoyable romp. Matt Smith turning out a fantastic performance as usual, always engaging, and I think he carried it. I think he carried it. And Clara's genuine fear really did work in this episode as well, and the TARDIS being the TARDIS, that. As Melina in the chat said earlier, the relationship between the Doctor and the TARDIS is beautiful. I think that's so inherently true. That's always something that always raises a smile from all fans, and more of that we'd love to see. I'd love to see much more of the TARDIS. I really would. So I'll give it a 7.5 out of 10 because I'm nice.
No problem. Well, I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. I like some elements to it. Chris has actually brought up a point. I was talking about that when they got to that scene where the pods, it did look a bit like the tree of life. I can understand what whoever wrote this was trying to do, and then the Moffat elements would have been added to the story. I can get what they tried to do. The problem is, though, like Lee said, if you're not explaining it properly, and you've got to remember, kids were tuning out at this stage, whether we like it or not. That's what was actually happening, because it was too complicated for them.
Yeah, I was tuning out.
Yeah, his fourth series was great, right? It appealed to everybody. But then, as Charlotte rightly has pointed out, with the Moffat era, he tried to make it bigger and better. And look, sometimes it worked.
Right? Yeah, and this was written by Stephen Thompson. So I think... I think this is true of most showrunners, right? They hire people who reflect themselves.
Yeah,
they want people who are going to write in their vein, and I think that's true of Chibnall. I think he hired people who reflect him, and who aren't as good as him. So that, apart from like Maxine Alderton or someone like that, generally, so he doesn't get shown up. So I think Moffat would hire people who write in a similar vein to him, or or he will input his own twists and turns in there as well, because obviously he would have final say over the script.
Well, no, it's not just even that. Remember, I think it was at a convention, Capaldi came out and said that Moffat actually edited and wrote a lot, well, didn't write a lot of episodes that his name wasn't on, but he would change things.
Yep.
He actually did a lot of, by the sounds of it, don't say tampering, but he would change bits in episodes, and Peter's actually come out and said this at a convention a couple of years ago.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Stephen Thompson would say, well, yes, he did sort of rejig things. Because, it's got a lot of Moffat tropes in there, undoubtedly. And even if he didn't, it would still seem to me that this is like, in terms of the episode, like an
echo. But RTD did, look, this is the showrunner's job, right? They'll get their writers to come in and he'll give them a brief. They'll write their story. And then
bearing in mind, he's also trying to wrap up this era
exactly.
as well. So this will be
he's trying, exactly. So he's trying to get his own plots in while they're still trying to tell their own story. So every showrunner actually does that. The difference was with the current one is he'd actually approve a script and then they'd be filming it, and then he'd change his mind, and then they'd have to refilm, or because he'd write something completely different to what he wrote the first time. That's the difference. Where Moffat and RTD stuck to their convictions, right? They got their writers, yet they changed some of the scripts. It's actually well known that RTD changed 42, a well-known Chibnall script, and apparently most of Chibnall's scripts while he's working on Doctor Who, I think all of them were rewritten, because they were so bad.
Made better.
But this is the thing, to try and make them better, and they were still bad. So that's the man they thought was the right man to take over Doctor Who. This is what I'm trying to tell you. But
I think Christine Morley's a bit upset with me.
I
can't always be honest with my opinion.
But going back to what I was saying anyway, what did I say? I gave it 8.5. Yeah, look, the acting's great. Clara is still kind of interesting at this stage, but there's little things starting to creep in. I did like the creature, and you could tell very early on that one of them was definitely Clara, because it was mimicking her behavior. You could see that, so you kind of knew there was going to be something there. But again, Lee is right. It's not really explained properly to a certain extent, but I can understand where, and this is what I've always said when I was defending Moffat to a certain extent. I said, I can understand what he was trying to do, but he didn't translate it well on screen.
I think he's in a rush to wrap things up. I think that's evident.
So 8.5 when Lee shuts up and lets me say what I have to say. It's 8.5.
Interrupting me and not anyone else, by the way.
8 out of 10. Shut up. 8.5 out of 10. See, you made me drop the 0.5. Be quiet, Lee. You're upsetting me. Money messing. Anyway,
Hope.
Yeah, look at him. Anyway, let's go on to our final guest, PD Rich. So PD.
Yes, I enjoyed quite a few elements this episode. I love the corridors, the way they had that kind of Jules Verne kind of look, kind of H.G. Wells kind of look. A bit like it was a bit of a throwback to the 1996 TARDIS console room. I like that, but the problem with this episode is it's a bit of a ship in a bottle episode in the old sense. It's a lot of running around corridors, or the same corridor again, painted a different color. Which I felt a little bit tad annoying in the end, but it's a good episode though. It was written well.
Could have been better. Could have been slightly better.
Yeah.
Lots of running up and down.
But it's also kind of very tropey, as Noel said earlier. It's a Star Trek. It's very, very cause and effect in the end. Yeah, I wasn't pleased with the Eye of Harmony, because if you actually played the adventure games, you know what actually happened to the Eye of Harmony. It disappeared. It's flying around the galaxy now. So how can it be back in a TARDIS and you not capture it? It should be in some big. It should be a big kind of white thing, with a big white glowing spear thing in a sort of kind of some kind of field. But it wasn't. It's like they could have put it in that he recreated the Eye of Harmony to power the TARDIS, because he doesn't run on Rift energy anymore. That would have been a good idea. But it's just like little tiny touches. It would have been nice to see the Doctor's study. It would have been nice to see the Doctor's room. It would have been nice to see Clara's room. The TARDIS being a bit more homely, as problem being said earlier. I completely agree. But generally, I do think it was a good episode. But it's just a few bits around the edges.
Do you know what this? Do you know this? This could have worked as a whole serious arc, not a one episode.
Yeah,
you could have done this as a serious arc, which you could have explored all of those different things that all you guys have been saying on the panel that you would have loved to see. You could have done this over a whole serious arc. I think it's actually a missed opportunity now when you look at it.
Yeah.
See, I don't know about a whole series. I think this would have been a nice, because now and again Moffat would do 3-parters. I think this could have been a nice 3-parter.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because I think it would have been like too much. Because it's quite.
You'd have to
stop it, you. Right.
You would have to have this as a serious arc.
Oh, right. Okay.
They do reuse a few of those sets later on.
I think it. If you're doing everything on set, it becomes very isolating and what's the word when you're sort of cramped in? It's
ship in a bottle set.
It's too restricting, and I think
claustrophobic.
Claustrophobic,
it's that's the word.
Thank you. Yeah, exactly. It's very claustrophobic, and if you spread this out over multiple episodes, my God, I think we'd be crying for some sunlight.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah, you did get to see the swimming pool again. That was a good sign.
Yeah, but imagine a whole series where each week they're on a different level of the TARDIS or something, and
I think you'd get bored of it. I do think you would get bored if it's a whole series.
It'd be like Red Dwarf, didn't they? They got lost on the ship or something. So.
Maybe. Well, I suppose you're right, because they were still doing 10, 12 episodes at that stage. When we 13 them in, so I suppose I was thinking in the terms of a Christian.
Yeah, you'd run out of drama. You'd run out of drama if it was.
It would end up like Red Dwarf,
Yeah. Well, at least Red Dwarf was alleviated, in the terms of restriction on set is the comedy,
Yeah,
exactly.
But it's like
it'd be very wouldn't be a very happy serious, would it? Actually, there'd wouldn't be much time for laughter, would there? Actually,
I'd rather be on yet another bloody council estate in Yorkshire. No, actually, that's probably not.
Right, sorry, PD, that was my fault anyway. I just had to jump in there when you were giving your point, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's your channel. Yeah, but I'd give the whole thing an 8.5. It was quite enjoyable, but there was a couple of little bits like the Eye of Harmony. It just didn't make any sense. It's like they couldn't explain it.
Yeah.
So it does make sense that if the Doctor would recreate the experiment to power the TARDIS, because the TARDIS got a power issue, as we know from the Rift Energy thing from Russell Davis's era. But it did explain that he did it. It just said, "Oh, look at the Eye of Harmony." It's like, that's not the Eye of Harmony. We saw the Eye of Harmony in City of the Daleks. That's not it. What are you talking about?
You know what I mean? Again, I think if we make it so it's not localized, it's not in the TARDIS, it's just accessible through every TARDIS.
Yeah. Exactly, that's what it was. But when the Gallifrey was destroyed in the Time War, it got released, and it's now going to be a little tiny jaunt around the universe. Yeah. It's a shame you have a Mac and not a PC, or I'd send you the game, mate. You could play it. You know the story, because they were supposed to be canon. That's how Skaro got re-established. Yeah. So I do recommend, if you can still play them, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and others, go and see if you can download a copy of the Doctor Who Adventure games. They are apparently supposed to be canon. And the first one explains a lot of why Skaro returned and what.
The Timeless Child is supposed to be canon, but
I would. That's kind of canon after about 20 drinks and a knock on the head from the bus.
Yeah, not even.
Chibnall's going to eventually get thrown in front of.
Under.
Can I journey to the centre of the TARDIS? Can a journey to the centre of the TARDIS was kind of done in I think it was the Invasion of Time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I kind of like it because it was a hat nod to the old Doctor Who, but it wasn't a big in the bottle.
Yeah.
It was like, let's just build some corridor sets. Yeah, that'll do.
Well, at least they did it better than the Invasion of Time.
Yeah.
Quite.
Just use this old asylum. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I know.
Just make the walls white. It's the art gallery now. We put some art on the wall.
Yeah. Oh,
It was all made of polystyrene.
I know. Oh, they tried back then. You gotta give them credit for trying.
I know, bless him.
Yeah. Yeah,
we love it.
I love the little throwback to the TARDIS console where they take the part of the console off, because that's how Mike Kell rebuilt the I think it's Peter Davison's console. You can literally take it apart and put it in a load of boxes for storage, because it had storage problems on the original TARDIS console.
But imagine if Clara had ended up in, I mean, I know it would have been budgetary restrictions, but can you imagine if she'd ended up in all the different classic console rooms?
Oh, that would have been great.
That would have been interesting.
So yeah.
I think the actual console room for David Tennant's was moved to the Adventure, wasn't it, by then? So they couldn't use
the
because
Doctor Who
that,
experience.
you can see in
That's
the
the one.
50th that it's not the original set that they're filming in the experience, because I've been there, so I know exactly what the
don't
TARDIS
look
looks
at the
like.
ceiling. Don't look at the ceiling.
Yeah, don't look at the ceiling. Don't look around.
Just tiles. It's like
just look at one particular angle. And
just one angle.
You can only do it from that one angle. Yeah, everything has to be CGI'd back in later. Yeah, but they could have used the they could have done that, but they would have to film the experience though.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what they do for the 60th.
Could have done it in a night shoot.
Yeah.
There's a point, Chris Persia. It's more like a Romulan. It's more like a Romulan. It's more like a Romulan warp drive than it is the Eye of Harmony. There's a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you watch Star Trek.
There you go.
Yeah. Is Noel alive? Hey, there he is.
Because I'm not talking, so he's not interrupting you. That's
yeah. Well,
Quick,
you
talk
talk enough, so likely, so it's all right to interrupt you.
I see.
I'm only messing.
See how it works.
But yeah, next week, interesting episode again. So we look forward to that.
A Paternoster episode, so I'm gonna be happy.
And we've got plenty going on next week. But obviously, if you didn't catch the stream before this, yes, I did stream before this. Go and check it out. Remember, we will be doing another TARDIS talks next week. So if anybody wants to comment on the actual article that I was talking about today, hold your opinions until then, because we'll be bringing you on to discuss it. But let's just say, I just want to say to Matt Stevens, keep talking, please.
Yeah, it's getting fun. Popcorn. Getting the popcorn ready now.
Because, and by the way, YouTube and BBC can go and kiss me arse. So I literally did that stream, as you know, and I put it up, and they limited the stream. So I had to basically appeal it now. So they're at their games again. They are now, where every time I talk about the Chibnall era.
But no, they think they are under the right side of history, like someone in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, that's controls the narrative, yeah.
So listen, keep doing it. It drives me. I'll just keep making more videos now. I'll just keep making more videos, and there'll be plenty more videos to come, because there's plenty to say, because Stevens can't shut his mouth and keeps talking. So well done, mate, because you're
but it's more interesting.
Like a Merkel of Doctor Who, hasn't he?
It's more interesting by the fact that he's doing all the talking. Not a dicky bird from.
Of course, there's not a dicky bird from the showrunner, because the showrunner's a yellow belly chicken shit.
Yeah.
And he's been like that since day one.
Yeah, but I think there's a bit of Chris knows what Matt's like, and he's just been like, you go on and be the canary here, and you say all the stupid comments, so I don't have to.
And they said they were going to have champagne at the wrap party, but they brought baby sham.
if you have to explain everything posthumously, maybe it's because you failed at the time. Just saying. Like maybe you should have planned this out in the first place.
It's not that they're even explaining it. It's just admitting that we didn't. This whole thing that the shippers had been telling us, no, it's been planned. It's been planned. It's been planned. And then the producer comes out and says, well, some of the actresses saw it on social media one series. We forgot about it the next series, and then we decided to actually write it in.
Well, I mean, if you look at John White posted up. images of the script from series 12 showing these things that were being written in. So either he's lying or he's sort of semi there, but not really. I don't know. Lots of this just really doesn't add up.
Look, it doesn't add up. The bottom line is this, right? I'm going to say it exactly how it was. And I never actually, look, bottom line is this, right? They had no clear plan. That's obvious to see.
Yeah.
Right. For anything that they done. But especially this. No clear plan, right? If Jodie Whittaker, right, I said this in the last video, and I don't want to get bogged down in this again, by the way, because I already discussed it, and we will discuss it again when I bring anybody that wants to come on to talk about it. But I will say this. Look, there was never a clear plan here. Captain Jack's cameo was shoehorned in, right?
Yeah.
So, and we've seen a couple of other things that were shoehorned in before that, right? And then we get this, right? So she told Chris Chibnall and co, Jodie did, that there was something interesting going on in the fandom, that the fandom were shipping the two characters, right? So Matt Stevens' own words, he says they forgot about it during Series 12, right? And then they just decided to do it for Series 13. Now,
probably because Tosin Cole left and they probably didn't realise he was going to leave, and then they thought, well, we can't put those two together, because that's clearly where it looked like to me that they were going to put those two together, Yaz and Ryan together, and then he left, and then it was like,
Yeah, sure. There was even articles written about their possible romance at the time, because that's where everybody thought it was going to go, that those two were going to hook up because they knew each other from before they went on the TARDIS.
Why else bring it up? You know.
Yeah, so, 12. There was right at the beginning. The whole thing with the sister got brought up, and Yaz was jealous that the sister had got his number or something.
Yeah, we'll just
exactly. So this is why I've always complained, and I haven't liked this era. Everything that we've all said, everybody, right? Yeah. We said what this era was all about. Stevens now, for some weird reason, is singing like a canary. Long may it continue. I hope he reveals that. I hope he does reveal Chaos in Cardiff happened as well.
Yeah,
because that will vindicate me totally. That's because I was the first channel to actually bring that into the public light, and then other channels then when I was actually popular back in the day when people actually wanted to share me stuff or shared me stuff. Now they don't bother their arse, but who gives a fuck? Anyway, the bottom line is I was the one that was talking about this before anybody was. I saw her for what it was, and I got called every name under the sun. I was lesbian phobic, I was homophobic, I'm against trans people and all of this other rubbish stuff.
It's to shut you up.
That's what it was, but I never shut up. I never shut up, and I never will. I'm sorry for what it was, and you know what? I don't care if Chaos in Cardiff never comes out, but it will. It will. I'm actually surprised all this coming out now. Seems to me, and I will ask you panel this, and look, I don't want to get bogged down on this, but I will ask you this one question, right? To me, and someone mentioned it in the chat as well when I was doing the stream, to me, this does feel like that Stevens especially, first he mentioned it was Whittaker that came up with the logo, or the rainbow for the costume and stuff. Now he's saying that she's the one that alerted them about the shipping stuff, right? And then he's talking about ship. Do you think he's actually thrown these two under a bus to kind of save his own skin?
Yep.
Could be.
Because that's what it looks like to me. It looks like he is. Listen, Chaos in Cardiff is going to come out a lot sooner than I thought. I think we're going to hear about it soon, and I'll be totally vindicated. You know what I'll do? I'll repost all those videos I did at the time, and I'll show you all the comments that I was getting. Fucking disgusting comments as well. Oh, you're a liar. I had people do YouTube videos about me, call me out. There was a particular American over there, grumpy old man, Mr. Free, Dr. Freedom, as he calls himself. He was calling me out and doing videos and slagging me off. Oh, no, Tardisone's lying. Chaos in Cardiff didn't happen. Even Joe, me and Joe weren't on good terms at the time, and even he was reporting on it. Even he was reporting on Chaos in Cardiff. there was a few of us that were on this straight away. And I was the first one that was piecing the jigsaw together, the Tolson Cole video, where he was talking about Jodie not reading her lines of her script, right? And all of the other behaviour that was going on with Mandip Gill's social media accounts. 1 minute I had Time Traveller up on it, and then there was a line drawn across, and then it disappeared, and then it reappeared, and there was that news at radio interview that I threw up as well from BBC Radio itself, saying that there were problems during the production, during the Series 11, and it carried on into Series 12. They even backed me up, and still to this day, people are calling me a liar and saying Chaos in Cardiff didn't happen. I'm telling you now, I never lied to you. I was right about everything else, and I'm right about this. Chaos in Cardiff did happen. Chris Chibnall stormed off like the little bitch that he is, right? And by the way, it wasn't just the one time that he stormed off set. Him and Whittaker have stormed off set several bloody times. It's even a miracle that this series and this era even got off the ground in the first fucking place. The two of them ought to be ashamed of themselves. The producers, the writers, everybody that's supported this, right? All those accounts, the media, you want to hang your heads in shame, because every single one of you are supporting a man who was not respecting the people that he is supposed to be representing and pandering to. And it's another disgrace that he's using certain people of race, sexuality, or whatever it is to further this agenda that he has. He's not even doing it with respect. It's absolutely disgusting, and everybody that supported this era in any way or fashion should be ashamed of themselves and bullied and vilified fans like us for coming out and saying what it was all about. And it's been proven time and time again. And you know what? I'm angry today. I'm just angry because when I saw that headline today, it vindicated us all, folks. I had that relief, but at the same time, anger built up inside me. For the first time in a long time, I was angry at the lack of disrespect that Chris Chibnall and his team have for the so-called LGBTQ plus community. If that's what he's doing, right? Go on.
Yeah.
I was going to say, people are forgetting this thing of making stuff up on the spot. This happened with Joe's doctor, because Vinny, I can never say the fella's name, Vittel, the guy who wrote Fugitive of the
Patel, yeah.
Vinay Patel.
He came out and he said that Joe's doctor was a last-minute addition.
There you go.
And this was last year. I think it was last year. He came out and said that wasn't planned. We just thought, wouldn't it be fun if we threw a doctor? I can't remember the exact word he used, but basically it was very like, we thought, wouldn't it be fun if we just added a doctor?
I'll tell you what you guys can do for me, right? Because I'm no good at this, right? But if you could find all those articles in question, any comments that these people made of certain stuff that was shoehorned in, send them to me.
Yeah.
Send them all to me.
Vinny did say that in an interview.
Right? Send them all to me. If you could find that interview, if you could find where that interview is, or that indicates that, send it all to me.
It really proves there was absolutely no
plan.
Vision.
No plan. No plan, no vision. His only plan was, as someone said in the chat, and you were spot on, Lee, and this is how damning this is. His only fucking vision, or his true fucking one piece of original vision, was bringing in a female doctor. That was it. The rest was all dead.
A gormless child as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, the fact
I reckon he's had that in his
if we know that Joe was a last-minute addition, then we know the timeless child.
Well, I don't know, because
Series 11.
It doesn't necessarily mean that the two things are the same thing, because whilst he brought her in, it doesn't mean to say that the timeless child thing as a backstory wasn't a concept that he'd always had.
Yeah, maybe
personalizing it by bringing one in particular. To the fore.
Listen, he had that concept. He did, because I was corrected. by
I'm sure
Charlotte
that someone
actually a
told
few
me.
weeks ago.
I'm sure that
Charlotte
someone
was the
told
one.
me that he had this in his head. Since
Yeah, but Charlotte
was a
also
teenager.
actually confirmed it, because even in Series 11, he does reference the timeless child. It was something that he had. I don't think. Listen, the reason why this all feels rushed is because I do now actually believe that maybe the original plan was not 5 years, but maybe it was 5 series originally, right? So he'd introduce this timeless child in Series 12, carry it on into Series 13, 14, and then finish it in 15, if that was his original plan. But because now he's been basically given the boot, he's tried to squeeze it all in now. But he did reference, because someone did correct me, and I think it was Charlotte, she did. The timeless child was referenced in Series 11. So, and you are right, Lee. I have seen he has done an interview and actually confirmed that this was something that he thought about when he was doing that Doctor Who fan shit, when he was giving out the Pip and Jane Baker. He'd actually come up with this concept a long time ago. But as I said, you can have something on paper, right? Fanfic that looks brilliant on paper. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you translate that, when you put that on screen, it's going to translate well. There are certain things that you should look at. As my final point on this is this, right? As showrunner, as a Doctor Who fan, he knows where to draw the line. He knows where the limits are if he's a Doctor Who fan, as he claims to be. And I no doubt he was a Doctor Who fan, because we've seen, look, obviously he was head of the Appreciation Society or whatever the fuck it was. He was obviously a fan and he was into the show, right? But that's what baffles me about this whole situation. He, as a fan, knows where he can and can't go with this and where the line must be drawn. Even Moffat knew. Remember that episode? I keep bringing it up, the doctor's name, or the name of the doctor, right? Yeah. And we all thought, we were all going mad. We thought he was actually going to reveal the doctor's name. But it never transpired. He never did reveal the doctor's name because he knew. Look at the backlash then. And he's a fan, just like RTD was. So this is what I can't understand. Those two showrunners knew where to draw the line. He didn't. He decided, well, I'm going to be different. I'm going to make an impact. You did make an impact, but in a negative way. That's
all it was, Noel. His ego just needed to be the one that did the origin, I think.
Yeah. I think he was the one that I think he had to be known as the one that actually did finally cross that line and go into those unknown territories, or those territories where fans don't want to go, and try to give explanation to certain things or certain plot holes that were left in the classic era. Yes, we know there was plot holes in the classic era, but leave them well be. Leave them alone, right? That those plot holes have created, yes, fanfic, and that's good. You can have your own headcanon and you can picture all these things, but that's where it should remain. That's where it should remain, unless you've got a solid fucking plan, right? A solid plan in place to do this. Well, then, and then back yourself while you're doing it if you've got a solid plan. But he can't back himself for this. His only vision or visionary thought that he had, okay, it's been a male for 50 odd years. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just change the gender and we'll see how that goes. Right? That's not vision. That's someone that hasn't got a clue what they're doing. Right? I'm a Doctor Who fan. Listen, not a writer. If I was offered that, I could write to a certain extent. I wrote as a kid. But look say I was in that industry, right? And I was working for the BBC and they said to me, right, Moffat is leaving, we'd like you to take over Doctor Who. If I honestly thought I hadn't got the ability, and I swear to you, if I honestly thought I hadn't got the ability to take this show and bring it to the next level, I'd turn it down. I wouldn't let pride or ego get in the way. I'd make sure that I went to someone, I'd say, no, please give it to someone that knows what they're actually doing. Maybe come back to me in a few years' time when I have a bit more experience under my belt and I've written a bit of sci-fi. But I don't know. Piers Wenger, Moffat, I'm not going to blame Moffat too much, but Piers Wenger, Moffat could recommend Chibnall, but at the end of the day, it's Wenger that greenlit it. So I hope Wenger's sitting at home and he feels guilty. He feels guilty for what he's done because he's responsible as well, just as much as Matt Stevens and Chris Chibnall. And I'm going to say it again, and I'll leave with this final thought. But for me, Chris Chibnall, that interview today has confirmed what I've been saying. Chris Chibnall is the worst showrunner to ever come near Doctor Who, and he has nearly destroyed this show. And listen, it's not a given that RTD turns this around either. If he doesn't, Chris Chibnall is going to be known as the man that destroyed a 50-odd-year-old franchise, and for what? And for what? That's the point that baffles me the most. And for what? For his ego, to massage his ego. Get away. Do any of you guys have anything else to add about that thing before we finish tonight? Just briefly, if you just want to throw in a word or two there.
I think it is absolutely sabotage. I mean, it's total disregard for the history of this program. I think that Chris Chibnall has not really thought this through. He's either been pressured by somebody to kind of push a female doctor through and do all this, and basically it's just fell to bits in their hands.
Yeah. I just want to say that I think, you know, due to the sheer posthumous attempt to explain everything and justify everything, gaslight people into, you know, trying to put this fake smile over everything, that everything is hunky-dory, and alleviating themselves of any wrongdoing, and then still trying to massage everything to make it look better than it really is, and still throwing us all under the bus. And the fact that, you know, they've never once addressed what they've done to this fandom, the split that's happened. They just continue to ignore all that, and I'll never forgive them for it, because it's been absolutely horrendous. And you know, that's left a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths. And it's just made RTD's job so much the harder, because that stain is so indelibly inked on that it's going to take a miracle to lift that. And you know, he calls us fickle. Well, let's see how fickle we are when we come to remembering this era.
Yeah, it won't be remembered. It won't be remembered.
Well, it will be remembered. It will be, as I said, it's indelible. It will be remembered, but it won't be remembered the way he thinks it will be.
Yeah, that's what I should have said. It won't be remembered the way he thinks it's going to be remembered.
I'm doing my best to memory hold this, and as soon as this final episode of theirs is done, that process can begin in earnest, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Well, look, as I said, we will be discussing this article in a bit more detail. There are other interviews that he done as well, so we might as well put them all in. Also, as I said, if any of you do come across any of these articles, I will have a look myself, but it's when I'm on my mobile phone, it's very hard because you're scrolling up for bleeding hours to try find it.
Yeah, I know what that's like.
But if you can find the articles...
I'll have a look for that one I mentioned about them talking about the fugitive doctor as a last-minute thing. I'll see if I can find that for you.
Yeah, grand. And I'll have a look and see if I'm pretty sure the Captain Jack scene was as well. And I think there's an interview there to prove it as well. But as we said on this channel, and all my guests have said on this channel, and you know they've been attacked for their opinions and telling it as it is as well. I just want to point that out. I haven't been the only victim here. But again, today is a day of vindication.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, we've said it all along. Chris Chibnall does not give two fucks about the LGBTQ plus community. Never has, never will. And by the way, Stevens has said there's more to come, right? But he's also said that fans mightn't get the ending that they expect to get. So that means she's either going to get our happy ending, and he's either going to kill Yaz off or she's going to disappear.
He's doing a charm offensive because he knows, I think, that they're probably going to under-deliver on this, and it's going to piss a lot of them off. And, you know, I reckon he's just trying to massage them
probably
by building it up into this thing. And like everything else, this mob have done, it will likely underdeliver. Listen, even if they get it on in the TARDIS, right, or even if they shake hands, one or the other, to me, it's still done for circus. It's still done for virtue signal. It's still done for all the wrong reasons. And people can argue, oh well, it makes me happy or it validates me, and it's not about you, right? This is about a tiny minority of shippers who are obsessively into all this kind of fetishizing these characters, right? That's fundamentally what it is. It's fetishism, and pandering to fetishism is not representing gay relationships at all in a positive light. Also, by the fact it was introduced by coming out to a straight man who then went behind that person's back to tell the person's crush that they had a crush on them. In the real world, if you try and do that to someone, you betray someone's confidence and you go behind their back and then tell someone, in the real world consequences, that could be a very dangerous thing because that person might take it badly. You're interfering in someone's life without their permission.
Yeah.
And all manner of things can happen, including violence against that person. Just saying, that can happen. That does happen. And I would just say that this has been sort of dropped explicitly in just the last couple of episodes, really. And we've got 2 episodes to go. And for all of this tension and build up that has just been manufactured for circus is queer baiting. Absolutely. Even if they deliver, even if they have a sex scene in the bloody TARDIS, it's still done for spectacle, and I find that distasteful.
It's queer baiting because the thing is with queer baiting is when you introduce this idea and then something terrible happens to one of the part of the couple.
Yep,
that is what
it always ends. Yeah, textbook. It always ends when we look at the series 11. How Chibnall views it all. I'm gay, oh, now I'm dead. Twice. That happened with the lesbian woman, that happened with a gay man, introduced as being of the LGBT community, and then off they go, they're dead. Fridge the gays. It's a trope. So then he tried to readdress that in the next series by having the gay astronaut thing, which was completely just clearly, obviously done to placate his previous era. And then the queer baiting in this one, and it's just like, well, it's all done for show. It's not done because it's interesting particularly, or it's done for the right reasons. It's done because it's to try and make up for all the fuck ups in the past, but also to try and placate these never ever satisfied people who always make more and more demands. And the fact is, it's done in such a way, it's so surface level. It's done purely for, as I say, spectacle. It's done purely to virtue signal, and it's got no depth to it. It's superficial. And I know it appeases a lot of superficial people in this fan, but not all gay people think the same way. Being one myself, I don't agree with the way it's been pandered. I don't agree with how it's been handled. I think it's been done abysmally. And I think in the next 2 episodes, it's going to end with disappointment, whether it's for the shipper fans or whether it's for the characters, because Jodie's going, she's gone. Yeah. So whatever happens with Mandy, if she stays alive, she has, if she dies, again, kill your gays trope. If she survives, then she has to live without the Doctor being the person that she wants. So it's not going to end well. Even if they get a bloody kiss, if that's all you want, that's fetishizing it. That's not about gay relationships at all.
Exactly.
It's nothing to do with that. It's all about, look at us kissing on screen. That's fetishism.
No development. See, this is the problem. No development, no laying of the foundations. This is why fans like us will give out. And I can understand why Lee is very angry, because it is done with disrespect. And listen, as Lee said, and I said it in my stream as well, look, if you are happy with that, that's fine, fair enough. but don't expect fans like me or other fans out there to not have a problem with this. We have a problem with
it. Also, don't attack us when we don't see that. Well, it's not that we don't see. Now we know. We know this wasn't done right. We know it wasn't done with planning or with any sort of careful thinking.
Yeah, that adds insult to injury. It's like, oh, it was an afterthought as well, on top of all that.
No, but this is my point then. Don't attack us. Because I saw a lot of that on social media after the episode, where people were actually saying, no, this isn't what you think it is, and other fans were jumping on them and saying that, no, it was. This is brilliant for representation.
Yeah,
so
we called it out because, don't attack us because...
It's a party line. Look, it's not LGBT people as individuals, right? This is a particular collective within that group who are acting as gatekeepers, guardians of the whole Phasman thing.
They accuse us of being gatekeepers.
As collectivists, right? They are collectivists who operate on the hive mind that say, this is LGBT representation. I disagree. All right? I think it's LGBT fetishization.
This guy has gone too far. Yeah, you're right.
It's all done for all the wrong reasons. All done to go, hey, look at me. Wasn't I stunning and brave?
Yeah.
So you can, have backslaps at cocktail parties and get all the adulation from the very few hardcore Chibnall era fans that remain, because that's all he's got. So he's obviously going to pander to them because no one else is interested.
Yeah, and also...
And that isn't... I'm sorry, but just to finish my point, that isn't representation, because that doesn't give anything beyond that small sphere of people. It doesn't take LGBT issues to the broader public and make it good representation for them to accept. Because you're making it as a sort of middle finger going, LGBT, we're here, to be queer, we're not going shopping. You're like, okay, we get it, but it's not done to make it normalize. It's done for simply for a few emotionally immature people to get their rocks off over.
Yeah, and just very quickly, who have we got in the next episode? Jenny and Vestra. That is actual representation. So we've had this. So we know when you compare Phasmin to that couple, to Jenny and Vestra, it looks pathetic.
Because it does.
Jenny and Vestra actually are a working couple. You see them have little tiffs. You see them be very lovey-dovey. You see them have banter. And you see all the little shades of a relationship.
Yeah, I think this whole Sea Devil thing is just, it's just throwing a bone to it's going to focus on lesbian relationships.
It's a desperate
and it's just going to be something, that's just there to kind of hook it onto and just use it as a vehicle for this really ridiculous relationship.
I've got a feeling they're not going to touch Phasmin in the Sea Devil one, and they're literally going to leave it till the last episode.
I don't know. I think if you bring the Sea Devils in, and if we're going to have Madame Vastra in it and Jenny, is she still alive? I can't remember.
Oh no, we don't know we're going to have those two. Sorry,
right,
Liam.
I thought you said. I thought you.
No.
Next episode we're watching.
Next episode on NuWho that we're on.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I'm conflating two different things.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised either, to be honest. But I don't know. I think. I think if you're going to leave it to the last episode, that only helps to underline what I'm saying even more.
Yeah, but we know they're like that, this production.
That's true. We'll have to wait and see.
Look, Strevens is kind of... Strevens has already kind of like told us they don't give a shit. So if it doesn't happen in the next episode, doesn't add any more to the next episode, then it doesn't matter. Even if he does... Listen, this was all just shoehorned in Eve of the Daleks anyway. So... we've got to remember, like he even says in the same interview, it might seem to people that it felt sudden, right? Yeah, it did feel sudden because it was sudden, because there was no actual character development or story development for this. So it is sudden. It's not that it might seem sudden. It was sudden. So look, if he doesn't do it, in the next episode. I wouldn't be too surprised if he does. I still wouldn't be too surprised because, as I said, the ratings are so bad now. He'll just pander to the idiots now for the next 2 episodes, but they'll buy it. And as I said, if that superficial trope, shite, and disrespect towards a community that you all say is a part of, if you're happy with that and you're happy with a straight white male actually doing that, then fair play to you.
And Chris Persia raises, a very central point, actually, and it's so true. And it's something I've absolutely noticed, and it's not just Doctor Who, it's in every fandom now, where they use minority groups in order to shield themselves from criticism. No, not just that, to shield themselves.
Them as well.
You can't make valid criticism against any show that has any diversity or inclusion in it, because then you'll be labelled an istophobe and all the rest of it. And it's done on purpose. So they're quite happy to utilize and use minority groups in order to cover up their awful writing, their awful decisions, their awful show running, their awful productions. Because by using these groups, they can say, well, you can't say anything bad about us because you're just against gay people, you're against black people. No, this is absolutely an endemic situation in pop culture currently.
Right,
that activism is being used in these things to cover up the fact that a lot of propagandistic plot points are being used. They're using groups of people from various different minority groups. And you can't say anything against the terrible writing, because if you do, then they can simply slap a label on you and say, well, you're now no longer human.
Yeah, sure, they're doing it with the Rings of Power right now.
Yeah.
They're doing it with the Rings of Power right now.
And they're paying the price for that, because people are so fed up with it that they've seen right through it now. People who were maybe on the fence over this are now going, right, okay, this is quite clear, because they've done it one too many times, too often.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous now.
And it's superficial, and it has to stop. This is not helping LGBT people. This is not helping black people. This is making things worse for us.
Yeah,
exactly. And listen, on that note, we're going to leave it there, because, as I said, we will be covering this again next week, and I'm pretty sure Lee will come on, and Charlotte and others, and they'll have plenty to say about it, because this is actually a topic worth talking about, because it's just laziness as well. There's so many things wrong with this, and thanks, as I said, Strevens, keep singing like a canary, mate. Keep singing like a canary, and slip up, mate. Tell us about here, Strevens. If you're listening, you probably are. You're probably a fan. Welcome. Listen, Strevens, do us a favour, will you? Next interview you do, let something slip about Chaos in Cardiff.
Come on the Tardis zone, we'll have a chat.
Yeah, come on here. If you want to defend yourself, because I think you're part of the problem, but if you want to throw your boss under the bus, I'm right here. Come on, and Jodie, if you're available, if you want to come on and give your side of the story. Then he's
sorry now. Oh, it's her. It was her idea, and then when it all goes horribly wrong,
they will do it. They always do it.
Well, look, I did say on this channel eventually Jodie Whittaker be thrown under a bus. I just didn't think.
Well, they can all throw each other under the bus because of shit.
That's it. Right. Well, let them anyway. With that said, Lee, give us your
you can follow me on the old Twitch twats whilst I'm still there. Even though
another campaign against it. Yeah.
Someone threw up. And I've never had an email actually saying that I was suspended for encouraging self-harm and suicide. I never. And it was a recent picture of me as well from my last profile picture. So I've never received an email saying that I was suspended for that. It was around the same time that I was suspended for being sarcastic to
where you told someone who literally
called themselves a jihadi, who said it was okay to punch Jews.
And I think you said jokingly jump off a bridge or something.
No, I didn't say jump off a bridge. What I showed was, if you want to punch fascists, I showed a picture of Hamas terrorists doing the Yahtzee salute.
That was the one.
I said, knock yourself out.
That was
everyone knows means go for it if that's what you want to. But one of the people who supported that jihadist remained untouched by Twitter. They supported it and encouraged people to go and punch Jews, and their account remained uninhibited.
Well, are you surprised? They won't even...
No, I am not surprised. But I would like to know if that wasn't the same.
Have you gone back through your email? Is there a date on that screenshot that you threw up? Because if there's a date on that screenshot, you can literally go back through your emails.
I would know if I had received a suspension, and particularly something like that, because I would have kicked off about it.
I know you would have, actually. You would have, because that's...
So I don't know. I don't know the veracity of this. I don't know who reported. I don't know what the post was. So I've actually asked for that to
clarification.
Be, I want to see what the tweet was about, because I want to be able to voraciously counter that, because that he's spreading that around like I'm encouraging people. Listen, I'm not the one who participated in a pylon or whose friends participated in a pylon that drove Melina to her crisis, and for them to turn around and say, well, it's okay because I did that to someone else. It's outrageous and a lie, and I will not accept that.
Can I just say something on your behalf? As for someone that knows Lee a long time now, when I've had my darkest moments, Lee has always been there for me. So I could say right off the bat that this allegation that Lee obviously was accused of promoting self-harm and whatever else it was,
in my
is an absolute it's an absolute lie for starters. It's a joke, and I've seen the person that's spreading this, and unfortunately they have me blocked on both accounts now, you little pussy chicken shit.
I went and tried to find, because he didn't have me blocked, but I tried to go through and find on that date where he posted it. I can't find it, so I don't know what's happened there.
But here's the thing. These people, right, they're the same people that participated in the pylon with Melina. Also, they're the same people that are defending Safe Space Who. I'm sick of all of these accounts. I'm sick of all these sick little idiots in this fandom spreading lies about people. Look, it's getting to the state. Lee has every right, and I would never criticize anybody for defending themselves. If anybody has a problem with Lee defending himself, in this case, can go and fuck themselves, to be quite honest with you. At the end of the day, this is a serious allegation actually to make. But as someone who knows him, and I'm sure Melina can attest as well, and everybody else on this panel can actually back up that, Lee has never encouraged. If anything, Lee has always been there when people have needed him most, and has encouraged people that are suffering from depression and do feel suicidal. He always tells them, well, here, listen, I'm available to talk to, or go and talk to someone, seek help. That's what he would do, right? He's never encouraged anybody to do stuff like that. But this is look, they're the same accounts. When are people in this fandom, right? And these muppets out there that are listening to these accounts, when he's going to realize that it's the same account storing up crap, right? And they actually have no evidence, right? A screenshot to say, listen, Twitter get a report, right? Someone reports you for something because it's happened to me, right? And they'll accuse you of harassment or whatever like that, right? If you don't respond to that, this is what's probably happened in Lee's case. He didn't get a chance to respond to it, so they just took down the tweet or whatever happened, right? But that didn't make him... when he's explained it anyway, right? So, if someone is being anti-Semitic towards him, and he's basically replying back with a meme or a picture or whatever, right? And he's basically getting one over on these little racists, right? Then why is he the one that's getting punished? It's the same with Auschwitz.
And I'll just say, I'll just add to that. I've come across such an incredible amount of anti-Semitism on Twitter, and I've reported some extraordinary examples of it, including one where one was threatening to go out and stab Jews in the streets of Paris, right? And I think 95 to 99% of those that I have reported, Twitter has found did not violate their rules. And let that sink in, right? I'm not one for hyperbole when it comes to things like this. I take things very seriously when it comes to things that I have a very big limitation on what I find offensive, and I'm grown up and adult enough to know that certain things you can sort of dismiss in certain ways. You can tolerate so much, but there are such absolutely egregious examples. And Twitter has a massive issue, actually, I would say, with defending blatant anti-Semitism, like the levels you cannot. Like, if it was any other race or any other group of people who are doing these things would be suspended permanently.
Yeah.
Listen, it's worse than Facebook. It's worse than Facebook.
You can block people on Facebook.
Twitter is just a cesspool. But look at Auschwitz Museum. They have obviously, as you know, they have a Twitter page which has been verified. But they've actually, for the last 2 years, they have a second page that they've constantly actually tweeted Twitter and retweeted them about getting that account verified. And 2 years later, they still haven't. And they've even come out on that second account and have accused Twitter of basically being anti-Semitic. Look, at the end of the day, for what I've seen as an outsider looking in, I've seen it for myself. I've actually seen the blatant homophobia as well, actually, on the rise on Twitter. Unfortunately, racism as well. There is a lot of racism, especially with footballers, unfortunately. But a lot of these things are on the rise again. You've got to ask yourself why. And it's all these activists that've done so much fucking damage that people are fucking heads are spinning left, right, and fucking center. And now, because people's rights, they feel their rights are being violated and all of this, it's causing all this tension.
And now Oliver Dowden has finally come out and said, "Oh, we've got to do something about all this activism nonsense and all this cancel culture." It's like 5 years too late, are we?
By the way, someone actually put up, listen to this, PD. Someone literally put up, I think it was, what's his name? I can't think of the account, but Lee will know because I think Lee responded to him. But there's a doctor out there, I don't know where they're from, and they were saying that they should add the P to the LGBTQAA, wherever it is, QQ, right? That they should add the P because he treats Ps, and after all, they're human and all of this, and they should be reintegrated into society and all of this other nonsense.
But it's
right? There's only one punishment for Ps, right? Now, you all know what I mean by Ps when I say Ps. If you don't, you know what I mean. Someone that has an attraction to, you know what, the younger set, let's just say, right? So he wants to include the Ps. I also seen an interview from a professor from one of these colleges or so big colleges saying that, that Ps should be reintroduced into the general population. There's only one punishment for Ps. That's viable. Well, actually, if you were to do it my way, which you wouldn't, I'd be accused of violating human rights. But basically, what I would do is I'd castrate the bastards and then make them eat their own dingity ding, right? And then I would do the best thing. Then let the family members then choose which way they die, because, I think family should get a bit of retribution, in my opinion, when it comes to Ps. Anyway, anybody that supports bringing Ps into the fold and bringing Ps back into the general population, and every single one of you people, if you have kids,
these are the same people calling for prisons to be abolished. And
did you hear about Facebook?
But this all stems from Derrida, Foucault, and Lyotard, like these very dead, very white, very French former Marxists who invented the postmodern religion, the critical race theory, queer theory, and all this. So it all stems from that. And these people. This is why a lot of people are being vilified for conflating and being sort of pigeonholed as being transphobic and all this kind of stuff. It's because a lot of this ideology is being pinned on to the LGBT thing, and it doesn't do anyone any favors.
No.
And again, it's this. Oh, the left is so lovely and so liberal and so fluffy and friendly. It really isn't. It really isn't. If you understand where a lot of these things actually come from, this whole collectivist ideology, it's all about finding various different groups who are oppressed, and then sort of using those groups to kind of beat the evil bourgeois, which is just a shorthand for Jew, by the way. And it's all conflating all these different things, and it's a very, very fucked up ideology, and it must be countered.
That's what I mean. I was going to say that. That's why it's important. Look, I don't like really talking about this shit, right? Because it does get me into trouble, right? But I don't care, right? If you're going to tell me that it's okay to put those people back into the general population, right? Now, this is another thing that the left have been advocating for a lot of years as well.
Not all.
Sorry, the radical left. I rephrase, actually. The radical left. The radical left have been calling for the age of consent to be lowered yet again, right? Now, it's going to end up back in the times of the 1500s and before that, where it was acceptable for a grown-ass man, and it still happens in some countries, remember, around the world, where it's all right for a grown-ass man to be having a relationship with a person that's underage. I don't want to live in a society like that, right? I'm sorry. They're putting these part of this, as someone said it in the chat there, it's like to protect them under this rainbow, right? What you're going to do is you're going to further, right? And this is what they will do. You're going to further damage those other groups that you are saying that you're trying to protect. All right. This is a bad idea. But look at this rhetoric has been going around for a few years now from this radical side of the left who want all of this. And it's quite sickening. And as I said, anybody online like your man, and by the way, I'm pretty sure his tweets have been reported, but again, Twitter won't do anything about it because they probably agree. This is the scary thing about it, because if that was put up, say, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and he wrote something up like that, the reaction on Twitter would be completely different, and he would be getting called out, and he'd probably be banned, and he'd be shamed, and probably be locked up, and all of this, right? Now, anybody that's talking about stuff like this that has any kids, I'm being honest, should have their kids taken off them. I don't think that those kids are in a safe environment if their parents and adults are talking like that. Charlotte had to go, so just say goodnight to Charlotte. But listen, I'm telling you now, the society is going backwards. And it's disgusting. But I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to do
That's why I call them that's why I call them the regressives, not the progressives.
Yeah.
Because they're going backwards.
So we're doing channel
I've just seen a post. Some of this is an actual academic thing, right? This is from, the Society, the Edinburgh University Archaeology Society. Queering archaeology.
Oh, God.
Seminar on Zoom starts with querying. I see what they did there. Cypriot prehistory, evidence of anthropomorphic figurines and pendants.
Oh, we know the Greeks were swinging both ways.
They practically invented it.
Yeah, they invented it.
We know the Romans were swinging both ways as well. This is
disability, cultural heritage, remembering our queer crypt.
Oh my God, we know. Jesus Christ, the Greeks and the Romans are known for swinging.
So they're using cripple in their queer cripple, queer cripple.
Why do you think it was Roger the Stable Boy?
Holy shit.
Look, before this
and then a keynote speaker, no past for us without us. Archaeology beyond the binary for the future.
For God's sake.
God.
We already know, but anyway.
They've done this a lot recently. There was someone post from some something about a very famous lesbian artist from back in the 1800s, and they refer to her as gender non-conforming, gender queer.
Oh God.
No, she was a lesbian, right? She was a gay woman, not a fucking genderqueer, not a fucking non-binary, not a fucking anything else, but a lesbian, gay woman, right? And we're seeing this, like, there is such a huge divide. Not a lot of people understand this, right? Within the LGBT banner, right? There is a huge war going on because this is why the LGB Alliance has been so vilified by all these other corporatist fascist organizations that operate with this new progressive flag with the trans and people of color arrow sticking in, covering most of the like an over symbol, like the mathematical over symbol over the rainbow flag, which I never liked anyway, but it's very clearly a clear sign of domination here, and calling gays like if there's something wrong with you if a gay man doesn't like vagina. I mean, we've heard this all before a few years back.
Right? Gay, then,
yeah, exactly. They're trying to redefine what that is, and it's like, well, you didn't ask my consent, and it's huge. Yeah, I mean, it's like I won't go into it all now, but it's just it's kicking off.
Right. Well,
anyway, just so you know.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Lee. Sorry, we ran over there. That Charlotte, I don't think Charlotte got a chance to mention channels. So she does be on Daniel's channel there. So go and check it out. I think Daniel's on someone. I think I seen someone say Daniel was on 320 subs now. So if that is true, well done. And she does also be on this Facebook as well. So we'll go with PD Rich next.
Yeah, you can find me on Rabbis in the chat normally, or you can find me on Dave Travel Through Time. I think this week we're doing it on Tuesday instead of Monday because I've got a meeting. So
no problem. Absolutely fantastic and real super doctor.
So you still there?
You can find me under Real Super Fugitive Doctor on Twitter, and I've got a YouTube account under John Caligari.
Fantastic. And as you heard from Lee earlier, obviously, just in case you have forgotten, you can find him on Twitter under Being Problem. And what's your Audred Audio Visual on YouTube? So, and then you know where you can find me. So there you go. So next week, obviously, I'll be doing a lot. We have a lot on, very busy. So we'll have loads of streams to watch alongs. Still have to put up the trailer for Cobra Kai, so I'll do that tonight, hopefully. And we start a Ghostbusters watch along extravaganza. Still haven't heard from anybody. So remember, if you want to be part of the Ghostbusters extravaganza, let me know. What I'll do is I'll try to get different people each week for each panel or something. If there's loads of people interested, if not, I'll get whoever wants to come on. But if you want to come on, send me a DM. Just send me a DM on Twitter.
I'll send you a message.
No problem. So as I said, send me a DM, Melina. Send me a DM if you want to be part of it. Just so I can write you our names down.
Facebook,
So, right, on Messenger, send me a DM. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I see me. Yeah, I get it, Melina. Just send me a DM so I don't forget you. So I can put your name down and I don't forget you. If you don't, I'll probably forget. And then on the night that we do the stream, then someone would bitching and moaning at me because I forgot. Then I get ratty then, and that person gets ratty then I say, fuck you, you're not coming on. See you later. That's it. Bye-bye. Au revoir. And then, it ends up being a total shit show mess. So, send me a DM. Anybody wants to join. Anyway, there you go. With that said, I hope you did enjoy your weekend. And Stevens, as I said, keep singing like a canary, mate, because we're getting some of the best content we've had in the world. Do you know what? We're getting the best content we've gotten all throughout this era. And you know what? That's shocking. all the content that we've done all the way through. Listen, you've given us the odd interview here and there that's really got us going. But thanks for these latest ones, because the views are shooting up. So yeah, keep singing, confirm Kirsten Carter for me, and we'll be best buddies. Yeah, if you want to come on for an interview as well, you can come on.
I was going to say something, about Ivan Reitman. He passed away a few days ago.
Yeah, God rest his soul.
We know. Oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
covered that already. Yeah, we spoke about that when I came on the day it happened, because I came on a stream that night and we spoke about it. Yeah, it was sad.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it a little bit more when we do Ghostbusters, obviously, because he made the movie, so we will talk about them. But we did, we covered that. That was gutting, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Look, he was here for Afterlife. That was the first thought that popped into my head anyway.
Yeah.
I was delighted.
He must have really been proud of his son.
Well, seriously, he must have been, but at the same time, think about it. If you had died before then, 2016 would have been the version he would have died and remembered. So I'm glad it wasn't. It was his son's version. So I'm delighted he was there to share that with Jason. But yeah, very sad. But look, we'll leave it there. Good night, folks. Have a good one.
Good night.
Enjoy your week. Let's hope there's more drama to come.
Undoubtedly will be.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.